Hello everyone, welcome you all for the lecture session on the subject of engineering graphics having a subject code of 18 EGDL 15 or 25. In continuation with the previous session with respect to the projection of solids, let us take up a new problem. So what is the new problem statement? Statement is a hexagonal pyramid 25 millimeter sides of base. Here it is an hexagonal pyramid. Hexagon has 6 sides, pentagon has 5 sides. So hexagonal pyramid 25 millimeter, each side of the hexagon is having 25 millimeter sides of base and 50 millimeter axis length rests on HP on one of its slant triangular faces, a new term for us. So draw the projections of the pyramid when the axis appears to be inclined to VP at an angle of 45 degrees. So there are 2 to 3 important terms that we should note down. One is that each of the base side is of 25 millimeter in sides and it is resting on HP on one of its slant triangular faces. So we will see that what is that slant triangular faces, and the axis of the pyramid appears to be inclined. So here we need not to calculate any beta angle. So it is appears to be inclined at an angle of VP at 45 degree. So what is the pyramid they have given? They have given us the hexagonal pyramid. So don't worry about the axis height. So it's an hexagonal pyramid having 6 sides. Each side of the base is having 25 millimeter according to the given problem, and it is having an axis length of 50 millimeter. And we know that from each of the corner the slant edge connects to the apex of the pyramid, whereas here they have given a new type of condition where they are stating that the slant triangular faces. What is the slant triangular faces? The two slant edges connecting will give rise for us in slant triangular faces. So we know the definitions with respect to each of the term. We know what is a corner, we know what is an edge, we know what is a slant edge, we know the slant triangular faces. Here they are clearly mentioning that this hexagonal pyramid is resting on HP on one of its slant triangular faces. So if you go back for the plane condition, it is a condition of a hexagon resting in a edge condition. So here that edge condition will give us the condition of it is resting on slant triangular faces. If it is on slant edge, it would have been in the corner condition. So we know that it's a trick. Whenever you see the problem, it is resting on a slant edge. So you can directly go for the corner condition, whether it is square, whether it is pentagon, or whether it is an hexagon. But remember, it is a slant triangular face in the given problem now. So we are supposed to rest that in the edge condition. So we have understood the first condition of the given problem, where each of the base side is of 25 millimeter and it is resting on the slant triangular faces. So when I look from the top, I can clearly see all the edges and the diagonals which are connecting from the corners. So I need to write down that particular first position. Then we will go for the front view and we will see what are the conditions to be done. So in the top view, we know the construction of an hexagon. So we are supposed to thick all the edge and we are supposed to connect from the diagonals. So we will complete that now. So now we have a hexagon of pyramid of 25 millimeter sides of base and 50 millimeter axis in length. So we are supposed to go with there are 2 ways to draw. We will go with the first method, that is itself with the help of a circle. But prior to that, we are supposed to draw the basic thing, which is that we are supposed to construct the XY line. We are supposed to construct the XY line and we are supposed to identify our vertical plane, the VP, and the horizontal plane. So we are supposed to do this thing initially. Then we will go with the construction of a hexagonal pyramid. So each side of the base is of 25 millimeter. So measure the 25 millimeter and draw a circle of that particular radius. So then it is to rest on the edge condition, which becomes very important for us. So where we are supposed to place our compass after drawing the circle and the diagonal, we are supposed to place it here and cut an arc on either side in order to obtain the condition of resting in the edge. If it is corner, we should have done from this end of the diagonal. Since it's an edge condition, we are supposed to make use of this particular diagonal and complete the process. So first let us try to draw the hexagon and then we'll go with the other construction. So the hexagon, it is resting in the corner condition. Now, after completing the resting on the edge condition, we are supposed to thick the parts. Which are the edges that are visible? All the edges are completely visible from the top view. Even the corners that are connecting the diagonals are completely visible. So what we are supposed to make that? Make that in a thick line. So for the construction, what we have done, make everything the visible one in the form of a thick line. Even the diagonals that are connecting are completely visible. So it is a thick line. The corner diagonals are completely visible. Now we are supposed to name the corners. So we'll begin with A, B, C, D, E, F. So we are done with the first condition where we have rested the hexagon in the edge condition and we have named all the corners. Now we'll begin with the front view. What we are supposed to do? We are supposed to draw the projection lines. So we'll continue with the projection lines, and before that we are supposed to show one of the dimension, either any one of the sides. So how to do that? Take any one of the sides, draw a thin line and show the dimension of one of the side, which is of 25 millimeter according to the given condition. Now we'll begin with our projection lines. C and D lie along the same line, so it's just a straight line. The projection line is just a straight line. Again, B and E are along the same line, so only one line, and E and F lie along the same line. So projection lines in order to draw the front view. Now when we are supposed to draw the front view, few things become important. What is the axis length they have given? They have given the axis length to be of 50 millimeter, and what is the condition they have stated? They have stated to rest it in on a slant triangular face. So when you look from the front view, the diagonal is overlapping the axis. So you need not to draw the axis line here, and this particular edge is clearly visible. So it's a thick line that we are supposed to draw along with the other two edges, and you can also clearly see the base. So we can complete our first position with this fundamentals. So it's a thick line basically of axis length 50 millimeter. So draw an axis length of 50 millimeter directly the thick line, and I can see the other two edges also. So connect from the point and the base is completely visible. So we are done with our front position, but we are supposed to name the things. So here it is C is visible, D dash is not visible. So C dash of D dash, B is visible, E is not visible. So it is B dash of E dash. Similarly, A is visible, F is not visible. So A dash of F dash, and we have the center, the apex point where it is going to meet. It is our O dash and O1 dash. Here also we are supposed to represent O of O1. So we are done with our position, but finally we are supposed to show the axis length. That is where it completes the first position. We are supposed to show the given condition. So it is having a length of 50 millimeter. Why we have not written axis line is that one of the slant edge is overlapping the axis. So how much is this? It is 50. So to begin with the next position, that is the second position, what they have stated? They have stated that it is completely resting on one of the slant triangular faces. So we are supposed to rest this completely on the XY line itself. So we know the slant triangular face is O dash of A dash of F dash. So what we can do, highlight one of the point, that is A dash of F dash. First A dash of F dash. Now transfer all other points with the help of the arc method that we know. So A dash of F dash, measure the distance from A dash of F dash to O dash and cut an arc, and the other thing is the other edge, that is C dash of D dash, measure from A dash of F dash to C dash of D dash, and again from O dash, you can measure it, measure from O dash of C dash and D dash and cut an arc to obtain the other end. So after this, identify the point. This is my O dash and this becomes my C dash of D dash. Let us complete the steps. So we know this is completely visible. We are just transferring, we are resting it on the XY line. So connect from O dash to C dash D dash. Finally from O dash to A dash of F dash. Now the midpoint is exactly at the point of, we can identify the midpoint through that, or you can go with the arc method. A dash of F dash to identify B dash of E dash or the O1 dash. Again it's a thick line. So name the parts, that is B dash of E dash, along with it is also O1 dash. Now draw the projection lines in order to complete the second position. From the corners of A dash of F dash, draw a line up to A dash of F dash and connect it from the other end also, that is from A dash of F, from A, similarly from F. Don't write the excess line, it becomes unnecessary. Next we are supposed to go with the B dash of E dash, B dash of E dash. So we'll draw a line, B dash of E dash. So now draw from E dash also, from E, a projection line until it intersect the E dash. Similarly from the point of B, Now again from C dash of D dash, we are supposed to draw a line from C dash of D dash. So draw a projection line. So right line, projection line up to C dash of D dash. So now this C and A lie along the same line. So So you can just extend that particular line. Similarly, D and F lie along the same line. Just extend that line. We are supposed to identify the O dash and O of O1 dash. Just draw a line. Just draw a line, the projection line until the center, and complete it from drawing the projection line from O of O1 as well. O of O1 as well. So before beginning of the completion of, we are supposed to name it, it becomes very essential for us. So it is E and E dash. We will begin with A itself. A is here and A dash is here. So it is A. Similarly, my B is here and B dash is here. It becomes my point B. C is here. My C is here. So this point becomes C. From D, corresponding D dash, and from E, corresponding E and F. Similarly, I have O and O1. O and O1. In order to complete the second position, we should follow some of the rules. What are the rules that we should follow? So we know that one of the condition is such that all the outer edges or the sides are completely visible. Basically, the boundary face are completely visible. So applying that particular condition, the boundary becomes E, F, A, B and O. So connect that with the help of a thick line. Connect that with the help of a thick line. The boundary lines. The boundary lines are completely visible. So draw the thick lines. Now the second condition, if I rest it on the XY line, one of the slant triangular faces, I can clearly see all the base, or I can completely see the sides. So all the base sides are to be with the help of a thick line. So I can just connect from E to D as well. I can connect from E to D as well, and D to C it is completely visible. D to C, and from C to B it is completely visible. All the base sides are completely visible. Now the next boundary condition, which is that next boundary condition, for the observer, the face or the edges which are nearer are completely visible, and which is far are not visible. Let us see that. So O dash of D dash and O dash of C dash is nearer to the observer and it is completely visible. So O dash of O to C and O to D is completely visible. So make that with the help of a thick line. Similarly, from O to the point of C, O to the point of C. Now the A dash of F dash for the observer from O dash, it is very far, so it is not completely visible. So draw that with the help of an dotted line, that is from O to F, it's invisible. So draw with the help of a dotted line, connect that. Similarly, from the A, point A, similarly from the point A, now are we done? Except this center axis, we have done all the things. So finally we are left out with the axis line, that is O dash of O1 dash and O1. It's a chain line. So draw a thin chain line, that is line and a dot, a chain line which indicates as the axis of O1. So in order to complete the final position, we are supposed to look for the other condition where they are stating such that the axis appears to be inclined to VP at an angle of 45 degree. Here it is appears to be inclined, so you need not to calculate the angle of beta as we did in the case of pentagon. So we can just transfer the second position directly to the VP, which is inclined at an angle of 45 degree. So what you can do, you can just identify a point, draw a line for an angle of 45 degree, draw a line for an angle of 45 degree, indicate the angle, this becomes very important, indicate the angle of 45 degree, and then transfer all the points from the second position in order to complete the final position. So how to do that? There are two ways. First, you are supposed to identify O1 because they lie along the same line, and this is the one that has to be transferred completely. So measure the distance from O1 and mark any point and call the point to be of O so that it becomes reference for us, and draw a line up to O1. Draw a line up to O1. So this is my O1. Now with the help of this, the rest procedure becomes simple. So measure from all the sides. If you measure only from one side, it becomes essential. It becomes enough because the other points will be same. So O to E and O to B will be same distance. So if I measure from O to E, it becomes enough. So the other thing is from O1, in order to finish it, we are supposed to transfer it, and then O to F and O to A are along the same distance. So measured from F to O, measured from F to O, it will be same basically. So F to O, and from O1 we are supposed to measure again O1 to F, again from O1 to the other point. We have transferred A, F, B and E. We are left out with C and D. So measure from D to O, measure from D to O, measure from D to O, measure again from O1 so that it completes the arc, O1 to D. So we have completely transferred all the points. So we are supposed to name the points. We are transferring from here. So this is my A, B, C, D, E and F. This is my O point and this is my O1 point. We'll complete it since we have transferred all the points. Complete the particular position. Complete the particular position. So A to F is completely visible. Again from D to C it is completely visible. From E to D, from E to F, from C to B and from A to B. I can clearly see from E to B that is transferred from here to here. Again from the point of O to B. From O to D also it is visible. O to C also. So the dotted lines is from A to O to F and O to A. Transfer all the points carefully. Now the axis line is from O to O1. So we are supposed to represent the axis line. Now in order to complete the final position, we are supposed to draw the projection lines from all the corners. That is from starting from E, draw a line. Similarly, the E and F are not coinciding. So be very careful. There will be a thin line from the point of E and F. and from the point of D we are supposed to draw the projection lines. Similarly, from the point of A we are supposed to draw the projection line. Similarly, from the point of C and B we are supposed to draw the projection lines. From the point of O, draw the projection lines, and from the point of O1 as well. So we are supposed to draw it from the O1 itself. So and also draw the projection lines from C dash to D dash, C dash to D dash. Similarly, from E dash, B dash of E dash, we are supposed to draw the projection lines. And from O we are supposed to draw the O1, that is we are supposed to draw a projection line. So the lines are very close, be very careful while completing the step. We are supposed to name the parts or the corners. So E and E dash, E and E dash are overlapping over here or meeting there. F, the point F, A, the point of A here, the point of B and P dash. We have C, C dash, we have the point D and D dash, O1, O1 dash, O, O dash. So now in order to complete the final position, we know that from the conditions the outer boundary edges are completely visible. So make that all edges which are outer boundary, that is C dash of D dash, E dash and E dash to F dash, F dash to A dash, and from F to A dash to O dash, along with that C dash to O dash. So these are all the outer edges which are completely visible. Then we are supposed to apply the condition such that it was resting on xy, now it has been kept at an angle of 45 degrees, so the observer can clearly see all the base edges. So ensure that all the base edges are visible, that is from the point C dash to B dash and from the point of B dash to E dash. So A dash of F dash of E dash, D dash of C dash and C dash of D dash are completely visible. Now is apply the conditions. What are the conditions that we are supposed to apply? The edges or the corners are completely visible which are nearer to the observer. So O to B is visible, O to C is visible, O to A is visible. So in here O to B it is completely visible, that is O dash of B dash. O to A is visible, O to A we have already done. O to B is also visible, that just we made. O to C is visible, O to C is already made visible. Which is far from the observer or not completely visible, that is from O to E is not visible, O to F it is not visible. So in that conditions we are supposed to draw the dotted line. So one is there done, and O to D is also not visible. So finish that with the help of the dotted line. And the axis remains. So axis we are supposed to draw from O to. So this is the final position that we have obtained for the given condition of the problem. So in the next session we will begin with few more problems with respect to the projection of solids. Thank you.